blood squirt, just the loudest noise.
Are we live? Oh, hey, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL First Look Strategy Show. Yo, we got the full Jameis Winston experience yesterday. Oh my God. The guy throws for 500 yards. What did he have? 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. Jerry Jeudy goes for 230 or whatever it was. I bet the Broncos minus 5.5, by the way. And
yeah, I also had them.
I would imagine you had a similar stance as me. Now, I will be honest. I shall not tell a lie. I did not expect it to be a 41-30, 42-30, whatever the hell it was, right? Did not anticipate that. However, my main reasoning, and I mentioned this in the Odd Shopper video, Ben, for the case for making a play on the Broncos was that I don't trust Jameis Winston to not turn back into somebody that makes these type of egregious mistakes. Like, we've seen it. The guy can make incredible plays. He did all day long, all night long. I fell asleep like midway through the fourth. I couldn't take it any longer. My 1-year-old's been waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I can't do it.
I was up too. I hear you.
Yeah. But I mean, is that not the Jameis Winston 30-30 type performance that we've all been waiting for? It is the fantasy dream.
Yeah, I mean, it was a wild game. Showdown was out of control last night. I didn't even really sweat the game, to be honest. I was too fatigued from the Thanksgiving slate to the Sunday slate. But yeah, I did catch some of the highlights and it all ended well. The Browns were using an actual creative player. I don't know how intently you watched the game. Did you notice that? Who the hell is M. Woods?
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
that actually isn't a real person.
Yeah, I thought like Akins would be more involved or something. But
Thrash, but
well, Thrash got a couple, right? Thrash got
he had some looks, but M. Woods.
Yeah, that one has evaded me or eluded me. He played 77% of snaps last night.
Can't with that. But
oh man, that's awesome. Thrash basically didn't play at all. Anyway, happy to have you guys with us. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. The last time Ben and I did this show was for the Thanksgiving slate. We love doing that one every year. Hit that thumbs up, atone for your sins this morning if you haven't done so yet. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's free, both of that. Believe it or not. Aren't you surprised? And leave a comment down below if you're listening or watching after the fact. Love reading and responding to comments, particularly on this show, because usually we get into it. And if you ever want to listen in podcast form, well, you can. Apple Podcast, Spotify, any other, podcast platform that's out there. We're there as well. But here, the big news. There is very big news. Very, very big news, Ben, that
what?
I've been waiting to talk about since Thursday. Well, this is important. Very important. And I bet chat knows what I'm going to get to before you even do, which frankly is sad.
Go on.
Nice to know you care.
I care. I'm waiting. I'm anticipating. What do you want me to do?
I want you to guess what the big news is.
Oh, we're doing tiers today?
We will because we missed it, but it's
the race for Goblin of the Year is over?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Dude, it took us 13 weeks to find the 2025.
The race is over, let me tell you.
The race is over. Goblin of the Year 2025 presenter is Matt Eberflus, hands down. I mean, it's not even I don't think you could make a worse decision in the remaining weeks of the season. Dude, people were coming at me in the comments on Twitter, unsurprisingly, they were dumb, but the people in the comments, not my comment, where I said the amazing part about this spot for Matt Eberflus is that one unthinkably bad decision ruined likely his career coaching. And they go, well, that's why it was unthinkably bad. Or, well, the whole game, this and that. No, that's not true. Like if they kicked a field goal and tied this up against the Lions, right, and managed that clock over the remaining 30 seconds properly, which would have been easy to do, and you take the Lions on Thanksgiving Day to overtime in Detroit, right? This is a one-loss team you're talking about here. It wouldn't matter if he lost that game. That would have meant that they stayed competitive, lost on a blocked field goal to a divisional opponent 3 weeks back. A week before that, they lost to another divisional opponent in overtime, and then would have lost to, that was 3 straight divisional games, right? Vikings, Packers, and then Lions. Then would have lost in over, or maybe even won that game against the Lions. They had all the momentum. So yes, that one single decision, if they lost in overtime, he's not losing his job. I'm telling you
he's
right
getting
now.
fired at the end of the year, but not now. No.
Yes, correct. But it looks a whole lot different. Like his exit ends up looking a whole lot different, is all I'm saying.
I agree with that. It was bad. There was a lot of bad coaching. I'm still doing a Goblin of the Week this week.
Hold on. If Eberflus won that game, I'm not convinced he does lose his job at the end of it.
He's getting fired.
What if they beat Detroit in Detroit? I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I think he had literally 0% equity to keep his job.
I think if he won that game, the equity increases.
No, I don't. But yeah, I mean, we'll never know. Being on Thanksgiving, that's as bad as it gets. But you know what? We're going to talk about a lot of bad coaches in just a minute.
Who's your Goblin of the Week? I'm excited.
Do you want to do that before we do tiers? That's fine.
Yeah, flip it up in the sidebar, Jordan.
I mean, there are so many different ones to choose from. I'm going completely off the walls because you know what? I'm one of the 2 people on the show, so I can kind of do whatever I want. I'm going to Brent Key. And you're going to say, who the hell is Brent Key? I've never heard of him.
Exactly what I was going to say.
And he is the head coach of a football team. But it would be the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And Brent Key screwed up the game so incredibly badly against Georgia. I have no real words. An incredible game. One of the wildest games I've ever seen. It went to 8 overtimes. 8. 8 of them. And first of all, Georgia Tech was I believe, 20-point underdog in Athens with basically nothing to play for against their hated rival. Their quarterback went full, I'm trying to think of an NFL comparison. I guess Tebow or Cam Newton. He had like 25 carries. Just absolutely a battering ram. He did everything, and they could not stop him. Through outrageous circumstance, the game went to overtime. It never should have got there. Not only did Georgia Tech score in overtime with the chance to go for 2 and win it, they didn't take that, which is stupid in its own right because you just need to run him and you'll get it. Then in the second overtime, Georgia Tech scored first, and their coach did this on the sidelines, which indicates let's kick the extra point. The slight problem with that's against the rules. You have to go for 2. So clearly he didn't even know the rules of what you're doing. So he was bamboozled there. Then they had 8 overtimes to get the 2-point conversion, and I believe, if you can count them, on 7 of those, they threw a pass, and none of them worked because that's just a terrible idea. If they would have just ran the quarterback who couldn't have been stopped at any point, it would have been successful. And they ended up losing the game to Georgia, and they gave the game away. It was a disgusting loss. They had no idea what they're doing, and their coach blew what was a truly historic performance from Haynes King. Disgusting.
Is it safe to say you bet Georgia Tech in that game?
No, I needed Georgia badly, really badly.
Hold on. So it worked out.
It was good. Yeah, it was fine. It's just.
But you're saying you shouldn't have won that game, is what you're saying.
But it's just sad to see. You gotta go. First of all, it never should have got there. You gotta go for the win when you're not the better team, and you're not the better team. Like
always. And you know what? Maybe you get blamed for being too aggressive, but that's better than being blamed for being a pussy.
The team, the quarterback, everyone, I'm not joking, was collectively out of gas, and it was visible. They had nothing left. They gave it their all just to get to overtime, and they just simply could not hold on. And then to go to overtime, and then you're from the 2-yard line, you're throwing these wild passes for no reason. It was just so disappointing. I'll pass it back to you for Goblins because Carolina could be a Goblin. D'Amico Ryans could be a Goblin. The Jets are Goblins.
And how about Antonio Pierce?
Well, he
if Matt Eberflus didn't get fired like that, if Antonio, there might be a co-presentation next year.
Antonio
Honestly,
Pierce doesn't understand. I said
football.
this to someone the other day. I'm pretty sure he thinks that he's like the linebacker coach, and he's just like, man, I have a lot of responsibility, and he doesn't understand that he's the head coach.
It's possible. I said the rah-rah shit gets old eventually when you can't coach games, when you can't coach situational games, right? And like, okay, sure, it's a mess up on the botch snap and everything, but why are you doing, like, he was in shotgun.
I mean, this guy, he's kicked like 5 field goals inside 2 minutes this year when they're down like several scores. He doesn't understand a lot of things.
And then decides not to try and do that this
Of course.
The Chiefs, dude, this Chiefs team runs hotter than any other team. I will be so mad. And I'm a
They're
big
gonna
Andy
turn it
Reid.
on.
What?
I'm so confident that the Chiefs are gonna turn it on.
That's what I mean, though, and that's what's disgusting, is that they haven't turned it on yet, and they have what, one loss to the Bills? And this, dude, they should have lost to Denver. They should have lost to Oakland, or sorry, Las Vegas. There's a litany of teams that could have beaten them this year. It's unthinkable. Black magic. Anyway, Goblin of the Week across the board. This was a big one for it. Let's hit our cheers real quickly. This will be the last time before our final show of the regular season, and our cheers will carry over to next year.
Yes, let's do it, and then we'll dive into the slate.
All right, so Jets are, yes. Jets are down there. Raiders are down there. Despicable.
Put the Giants down there.
Giants are
in the Jets. Put the Giants to the Jets.
Yeah, because they constantly figure out ways to make the team not work. And the Saquon thing just looks worse and worse. Although it wouldn't have mattered because they can't block anyway. Eagles are definitely up in Super Bowl contention now, without question. That defense
the Eagles are really good. It's insane that I honestly still think the Ravens are up there, but they might not make the playoffs.
Put them as a playoff team.
Yeah. And kick the Niners out. The Niners are done.
Oh, the Niners are toast. Niners are maybe next year.
100%.
Yep. And probably next year, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah.
If there was a probably next year tier, they belong up there. Hold on, let's just go from,
okay.
Can we just go from top to bottom so we don't?
Sure.
I think all of the teams up top right now
are good.
Belong there. I don't want to put anybody else up there yet.
Nope.
What about Houston? Are they just going to make it by default?
Yeah, because their division is a joke.
Yep. Colts are fringe only because that's a bad it's a bad conference right now.
So we need a couple things here. The Bears, I think, should be relegated to the Jets personally, or you can fire them into the sun. I don't care.
I agree.
And the Broncos are definitely a fringe playoff team at worst at this point. They're playing really good football.
Definitely. I would put the Broncos. I'm going to do it right now. Broncos are a playoff team.
Sure. I can live with that. They go up 2 wrongs. Nice.
And that's a big jump. This is what's fun about doing this every month instead of every week, right? Like we can actually go back and look. For what it's worth, if you were to look at to make the playoffs, Denver now is minus 250 to make the playoffs, Ben.
Yeah, there's nobody left.
Cardinals are a fringe playoff team.
Yeah, the Cardinals are a fringe playoff team.
So
I mean, the entire NFC West
outside of the Niners.
Yeah, like the Rams are live for sure.
Yep. Well, then you have to put the Seahawks as fringe too, don't you?
No, I think because I think they have the inside track personally.
All right, give them the inside track. Are Dolphins fringe?
No,
Do they?
No, the Dolphins are done.
Dolphins are toast. Bengals have a 4% chance. Cowboys.
The Bengals are a disgrace. I don't understand. The Bengals have scored. I heard this last night and I was just like, this is not possible. And maybe it's wrong because I didn't fact check it, but I believe it. The Bengals have scored 99 points in their last 3 games and they're 0-3.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to tweet something about
that. That's impossible.
Yeah. They're averaging almost 30 on the season. In the games that they've lost, on the games that the Bengals have, it's funny. I was looking this up the other day. Listen to the games they've lost. and they scored only 10 against New England, but they scored 25 against Kansas City, 33 against Washington, 38 against Baltimore. Philly beat them up. 34 against Baltimore again, 27 against the Chargers, and 38 against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, we got to get moving. I want to make one more change. Browns are a clear maybe next year. They have some pieces. They just need a quarterback.
Sure.
I'm saying they're at least competing right now. So they're not.
I mean, they have talent. It was never a talent issue with them.
Nope. How do we look?
I think we look good.
Let's talk quarterbacks. Dive straight into it with quarterbacks today. By the way, thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and putting up with some early nonsense here on the show. But it's Tuesday.
It had to be done.
It's Tuesday. It had to be done, and for sure, the whole Goblin of the Week was, takes priority here. It was a crazy week for that. All right. I by the way, I had my worst week of the year last. I know you didn't. I know you were somewhere around break even, kind of just survived. I had my worst week of the year, and on Sunday's main slate, I should say.
I won't waste a ton of time. I'll just say this. It took a milli winning effort for me to min cash in high stakes. It felt like I had to run hotter than the sun just to hold on. I had to dodge Bucky Irving in overtime. It was insane, but no, I came out fine. It was, thanks to Bijan. Bijan is an unstoppable rebel force, and he has saved me this year.
Yeah, I had a ton of Bijan this week.
And Lad.
I think we were both there that like this guy's volume is way too high. You can't, and he wasn't even as popular as some of these other guys. I had a lot of Chase Brown. He ended up being fine. He finished with like 19 or 20. That's fine. I'm trying to think what killed. I had none of Washington though.
Calvin Ridley killed me. And Herbert. That was a bad one. Which was great.
I had Darnold
but I paired
too.
him. Who?
So I had a bunch of Sam Darnold stuff.
Oh yeah, and Adai Mitchell had 0. That didn't help me.
That was a bit. Yep, that's another one that hurt me. Overall, I felt like I put. You say this. I felt like I put most of the pieces together. I got my Brian Thomas touchdown, and he ended up even with fuck is his name? Not Drake May. Mac Jones having a decent game, but couldn't put. And I had in the red zone in the $50 single entry, I had the Russell Wilson stack, but I only had Pickens, and he spread the ball around like crazy. So whatever. Let's talk quarterbacks here. So Allen has the Rams. That could be a shootout in LA. Hurts has Carolina. I don't know what to make of that spot because it could just be Barkley, but Barkley's really tough to get to this week. Really tough. They're 12, 13-point favorites, depending on where you look. Baker has the Raiders. That's a really good spot. He's 6,400. There's only 2 guys in the top tier, and then you drop down $1,400 from Hurts to the next closest player.
It's really weird. So you don't usually see this with quarterback. I kind of like it because it makes decision points more unique. But yeah, you have a big 2, and then you've got 5 quarterbacks within $400 of each other, which is pretty crazy.
So there's only 2 up top. For me, I think it's going to be Allen over Hurts. And it's simply because Josh Allen is forced to do more. And it's very possible that Saquon Barkley just takes this game. I'd go a step further. I think it's very possible that Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Gainwell, Ben, take this game over.
You can really, really, really run on Carolina to the point where volume is going to be a serious issue for Hurts, even with we saw it last week, even with a push.
I agree. And I don't think they need to run him a ton in this spot.
No. It's tricky. I don't see myself getting there. Josh Allen would be one, and then I'm going to the mid-range. I like Kyler. I'm taking that game right on. I was wrong the first time on that game, and it was only 2 weeks ago, and I'm going right back to it.
I love it. Love it. By the way, 4 games this year where the Panthers have allowed more rushing yards than passing yards.
Yeah. The Panthers, by the way, are really, really playing good football. They
are.
Bryce Young, talk about saving. You mentioned Eberflus, who I think had no chance to save his job. Bryce Young, I think, has a lot of chance to save his job.
He might have a chance to save Dave Canales' job too.
Yeah, he might be the quarterback of the future there.
He looks way better. Now, let's be fair. He's playing better than the Bryce Young that was playing earlier. He still hasn't been great, but he's been good under pressure, and it's not like he has a ton of weapons either. So I hear you. No. He's been pretty good. I'll give him some credit. They're 2-2 over their last 4 games. They beat the Giants in Germany. They beat the Saints. That led to the firing of Dennis Allen. They almost beat Kansas City. They lost by 3 as double-digit dogs. And then they took a good Tampa Bay team to overtime. I'm with you. They're playing much better football as a team. However, that defense cannot stop the run.
That's not his fault. I'm just saying Bryce Young's outplaying a lot of bozos that people are not talking about.
For what it's worth, I'm not touching him against Philly this week.
No, literally negative chance. The time to play him was last week.
Okay. Just so we're on the same page.
I would rather play Trevor Lawrence, who's not passing protocol.
Yeah. All right. Just so we're on the same page. You can't take Kyler in the top tier. You got to take Allen or Hurts.
Oh, no. That's what I said. I'm taking Allen. No question about it. But I'm going right to the mid-range. I'm taking Kyler for my mid-range.
I misheard you. Okay.
Yep.
I'll go Allen too. I think we're on the same page with Allen and Hurts here. Hurts could just end up having like 3 goal line touchdowns, but I don't want to run that risk. All right. So you have Darnold. I have 3 guys who I think are viable here. I can't trust Brock Purdy right now. I simply can't do it. That team's in trouble. Tua might end up being, he's not my top, but I'm just throwing it out there. He might end up being like the sneakiest play of the week because no one ever wants to play quarterbacks against the Jets, but there's something wrong with this team. There's something critically wrong with this team, terminally wrong. So just
apart.
They've unraveled. The wheels are off. But give me Baker, man. Baker's awesome. And the Raiders are a legit pass funnel defense. Their run defense is actually not that bad. Give me Baker Mayfield at home against the Raiders. I think they might run over the Raiders this week, Ben.
The Raiders have a slightly longer week. That's about the only positive I can take for them. Baker's awesome. I'm not a Baker fan at all, but he has just been, it just shows. I mean, I'm not going to waste more time on the show, but it just shows how ridiculous society is on judging these quarterbacks. Baker was a huge bust, and now you get in a better situation. It's so high variance of if these guys are busts or not. It's crazy if you ran it back, how many guys would succeed and fail that succeeded or failed in a different spot.
It's a crazy thought, isn't it?
I mean, I firmly believe that. Unless you're in the top 1% or in the bottom 1%, it's almost all luck. And you could be in the wrong spot and you just will never get a chance.
Would anybody remember Tom Brady? The answer could be yes. But would anyone remember Tom Brady if he went to a garbage organization that it's possible he would never have started a game?
I mean, people can disagree, but I'm a firm believer. If you think that, he was the best ever, he was getting discovered, I don't think that's how it works at all. I assume there are plenty of guys that would have been Hall of Famers that never got a shot.
I agree. Totally. Even you look at Bo Nix right now in Denver, what they've done with him. If Bo Nix ended up getting drafted by the Raiders, who knows?
Sometimes you get no chance.
No chance. Right. And Bryce Young draw the short end of the straw.
It's been 2 years.
Drew the short straw. Sorry. Pretty early. Anyway, give me Baker. I think there's a good spot for Baker this week.
No argument. Baker's awesome. He's got weapons. Great matchup. He's got a Q tag that helps because he's 100% playing.
Yo, can I give you my low tier guy? I want you to guess.
Well, give me the cutoff. You're saying what? Sub what?
Sub 6K. You won't guess this.
No, I will. I'll get it.
Wait, you think you'll get it on the first shot?
Yeah.
You think you know me that well? All right.
Yeah. It's Jameis.
No.
Ooh, I was pretty sure it was.
Nope. You want me to tell you?
Give me one more. It is. It is Cousins.
Nope.
Good, because I didn't like the spot at all. I give up. Who was that?
You probably didn't even scroll far enough.
You're probably right.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in the league.
Dude, $4,800. Just hear me out. I love when
he's all right on Friday.
He was good on Friday, I thought. Against a good Chiefs defense, I thought he was pretty awesome. By the way, do I think that is the Aiden O'Connell that we should be expecting? No, of course not. Also don't necessarily need that. By the way, shout out to Jordan for always getting spelling perfect on these. AIDAN, not the EN. I mean, look, I'm not setting the bar very high here, but I do appreciate it because when I tweet this stuff, I don't want to look like an idiot. Okay, so Ben, last game against the Chiefs, would you be interested to hear the target share for Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he does have Bowers, so that helps.
Listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers accounted for 73% of all of Aiden O'Connell's targets. 73%. That's insane. 25 of 35 pass attempts. Nobody else had higher than a 5.9% target share. No one else had more than 2 targets in the game. So I think with how good Brock Bowers is, first of all, we know that Tampa will funnel everything to the air, through the air, right? You can't really run on them, and they don't have a run game anyway in Vegas. $4,800 with a mid-5K Jacoby Myers and a $6,500 Bowers, who is just, this guy is fantastic already. I actually like it.
I mean, listen, it's a good, obviously, clearly you have some game stack equity just based on what you're doing there. And I totally get it. And Bowers, the funny thing about Bowers is I even do this and I'm way ahead of most on this because I watch so much college football. I feel like people are like, man, this guy's incredible. He was the best tight end like I've ever seen in college. I don't know why anyone is surprised, me included, that he's doing this. He was supposed to be this good, and how the Jets passed on him is beyond me. But yeah, Bowers is an absolute stud. He's going to be 8,000 for like 10 years.
And he should be.
Yeah.
But tell me that's not nuts, though. I'm not saying it's sustainable, but it's almost 3/4 of every target went to Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. And Aiden O'Connell's $4,800.
I'm going to what's going to be a lot more chalky situation, I think, but I'm going to Caleb Williams.
I don't hate it. San Francisco's in shambles right now.
Yeah, San Francisco's done. Caleb Williams, who I don't know, honestly, but he's looked better. He's done some stupid things. The talent is there. He's got weapons. He's 5,600. It's an easy stack. He's a great pay down option. He will be a popular pay down option.
Also, 86 pass attempts since the offensive coordinator change.
Yep. They're putting the ball in his hands, and that's not going to change this week.
No issues there. You know, I love doing this show because, and I hope we never stop doing this show. It brings me back to the time where like it was just a hand building, you know, like the Sims have transformed my game. And now this is the best season I've had in a while, but I still love the process of just like looking through the players and talking about them by position.
Yeah. I still do that too with the Sims. Like,
well, so do I. I inject some of my own thoughts and stuff, you know, like the way things, but the Sims have, and the single lineup sim, all they've done is allowed me to still use the old process, which would be worthless otherwise. Right. I think that's a fair way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, what it does, it allows me to put context to what I'm doing. That's the way I look at it. So I used to build my lineups, and then I would say, this looks good. Let's see what happens. Now I do that, and I have checks and balances where I say, you know what? This is my main lineup. Let me run it through the single lineup simulator. And I get a confirmation. Okay, this grades out really well. I'm on the right track. Doesn't mean it's going to win, but I know I've kind of done my part. Then there's times where I run it through, and it's at like -40%. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not saying 100% I'm throwing the lineup away. Let me look at it. Let me try this other 2v2 and see what happens. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to abandon all your principles, but you have this now system process that's going to allow you a lot more flexibility to make better decisions, and it doesn't take me all day. That's the key for me.
And how about right now, Ben? 50% off of
Deals roll on.
Any Stokastic Light package, promo code Cyber24, includes the single lineup sim. That's right. Includes the single lineup sim, includes all of the optimizers, includes the Discord projections, ownership projections, you name it, man. Post-contest simulator, which you should be using all the time. 50% off a week or month. You'll see that link down there. You guys want to get access to these tools. It's just awesome that you can still have your old process, but now use the tools to actually see if your process is working. That's how I'd put it.
That's the best way to say it.
Yeah. Am I building a profitable lineup long-term, right? Like, am I building a long-term profitable lineup? Is my process right week over week? And if not, like you said, how can I figure out ways to fix it with this tool? That's what it is. That's what it is. 50% off. If you use that link, right, where it says 50% off any light package, click that, right? And then when you check out, after selecting your package, just use Cyber24, all one word, and it'll get you 50% off. That's it, man. Or if you just wanted to get the core package, $100 value for free, use the top link in the description. Jordan can throw that into the chat as well. Sign up with any of our sportsbook partners or pick'em partners if you're in a non-legal betting state. All you have to do, literally, sign up. You have to click claim offer. You have to use that link. Jordan, forget about that graphic. Doesn't do us any good. Just use the webpage so people can see it. Click claim offer on that top link. Go in there, deposit. It's usually like a $5 or $10 deposit. That's it, right? And make a bet. It could be Russian ping pong or cricket in India. Where's cricket big? Like India and Pakistan and stuff like that?
Yeah, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. I know India. They go for like 46 days. The moment that bet settles, win or lose, just send us a screenshot. Email it at support@stokastic.com of your first settled bet and of your welcome email, and you're getting a free month of core. It's a $100 value. Includes the sims, the single lineup sim, all the tools that you're just going to make more money and become a better player with. So multiple ways to get in on right now if you've been riding the fence. If you ever have questions, hit us up, man. Discord, or hit us up in DMs, and we got you.
You ever bet cricket?
What's that?
You ever bet cricket?
No, I don't know. I just know they use a paddle and wear shin pads.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever.
I mean, I would assume there's some similarities to baseball, right?
It just takes like days. That's the thing I don't understand.
But they also take breaks and stuff. Like, I think they go to bed and come back and finish the game. They're not like moonlighting it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Well, maybe someone who signs up through one of the sportsbook partners to get a free month can bet a cricket game and let us know how it goes. They'll be sleep deprived by the end of it, but they'll still get their month. Anyway, guys, 50% off with Cyber24 at checkout. That's the second link. First link gets you the core monthly free $100 value. Just sign up with any of those books and collect your bonus bets as well. All right. By the way, Will Levis, I'm potentially considering going back to that this week.
Tried that 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you want to talk about low-key, stupid variance, the definition of variance. Westbrook-Akina, I believe, has 19 catches on the season, but he has 8 touchdowns.
Okay, so I actually looked this up yesterday. Man, we're locked in because I've been looking this stuff up.
How stupid is that?
He has 20 receptions and 8 touchdowns.
Okay, there you go. So that means...
Here's the crazy part, though. Through his first 4 games, he wasn't targeted, okay? That means that over his last 8 games, he has 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, 40% of his receptions are touchdown catches.
40% of Marquez Valdez-Scantling's catches are touchdowns, too.
I mean, yeah, he's another one, but...
Do you want to guess what percent of Trey McBride's receptions are touchdowns?
0%.
0. Do you know how many receptions he has?
62.
Close. He has 73 receptions.
Yeah, that's insane.
He has 73 receptions. His only touchdown bailed you out, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I swear to God, I was going to say, you know what's really weird about that? I remember hitting something with an anytime touchdown scorer for him, so I'm confused. Yeah,
He
he
fell
fumbled
on a
recovery.
fumble.
Yeah,
Yep. He has
sweet,
0
sweet
touchdown
justice.
receptions in 73 receptions. Meanwhile, Westbrook Akina has 8 on 20 and Valdez Scantling has 4 on 10. You cannot make this shit up, man. You really can't. It's incredible. By the way, so is Trey McBride. That guy's awesome.
Not Bowers though.
I don't know.
No, he's not. And I'm a big Trey McBride.
Nah, you're
He's
right.
not.
You're right.
He's amazing.
But
though.
he's awesome. He's really good.
Amazing.
All right. I don't know if I can pay up for Barkley this week, man.
No. $9,000? That's insane.
It's crazy. I mean, maybe he has 202, but I don't know if I can do it. Also, I want to talk to you about Alvin Kamara for a second. This is why we do this show, because it's fun. So Darren Rizzi, the interim head coach, former special teams coordinator, apparently Kendre Miller is out of the doghouse, right? Hold on, hear me out. And Darren Rizzi is saying like, no, it's full go with him. And they plan on working him immediately back into the offense. This sounds wild, but I actually have some reservations about Alvin Kamara as a result.
You know why I don't? Because Taysom Hill tore his ACL, and all those carries that Kamara didn't get, they could just be used for these type. I still think Kamara's role is very secure.
Okay. The reason I say this though is because this is a 4-8 football team.
I still think they're playing though.
Okay. They are, because Rizzi's got to get them playing because he's trying to get some type of,
And it's 17 weeks. Like, you're not dead yet in that
they're
division.
actually only 2 games back in the division.
That's what I mean. It's all go for them. And without Taysom Hill, Kamara is going to be really busy.
I still prefer Devon Achane over Kamara.
I don't. I prefer Kamara.
He's just, dude, Kamara's not that good anymore.
No, but he's good enough.
All right. He's going to get a ton of work. There's no doubt about it. But Devon Achane might get a ton of work in this game. This Jets run defense is paltry. They really can't stop much, man.
What are they?
Paltry. Paltry.
Isn't that chicken?
That's poultry.
Oh.
P-O-U.
It's like I thought you were trying to say putrid, but you said poultry.
Yeah. I probably didn't even use it right.
I don't think that's a real word, but go ahead.
It is. It means like inadequate, meager,
Meager.
small.
Okay.
But
whatever.
inadequate would make sense. If that's a synonym, that would make sense. How about
I
this?
never heard that word.
How about this? They're dog shit. Their run defense right now. Abysmal. Putrid.
Any domesticated bird used for food. Yeah,
No,
that's what
you're looking up poultry. Dude. That's not.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, what I'm getting at. I know the Jets, like the last 2 games, did a decent enough job of stopping the run, but against teams that can like actually run the football, they're pretty bad. And Achane's just super involved in the passing game. I don't think they play from behind, which is almost good for him. Normally you'd be like, well, they play from behind, Achane gets more targets. I think Achane's like a 6-target guy, even if they're not playing from behind. He just gets more work on the ground.
I don't disagree. I'm not going to push back on Achane. I prefer Kamara, but I prefer both of them to Saquon. And it's not that I'm ruling Saquon out, but I prefer both the quote unquote pay down options at the top.
Okay, well here, I'll do you one better, because Achane's not a priority for me at that price point. If we're doing as we usually do, 7K and up, it's Bijan for me again. I'll just keep going back to Bijan here at this price point. That's
always the answer. It's been the answer all year.
Bijan, no, it hasn't. Not when Algier was getting that type of work that he was.
I still thought it was the answer. I really did.
That's fair. But I'm saying through the first 5 weeks, Bijan wasn't even good because he wasn't getting enough. Okay. He had 32 touches last game.
That's an outlier, though. That I understand what you're saying, but even early in the year, he was getting around 20 touches. He just wasn't scoring.
I don't know if it is a total outlier. Well, 32, yes. But week 9, he had 26. Week 10, he had 24 looks. Against Denver, that to me, that's the Denver game is a much bigger outlier than the 3 games that it's sandwiched in between.
100%. Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Paltry, yeah. Okay.
Paltry.
Why are we talking about turkey?
Anyway. Bijan, the guy up top?
Always. I'm playing I have played him. I've been overweight on Bijan probably every single week of the year, and I'm not stopping.
You absolutely have. There's no need to stop now. This guy, he's a difference maker. Algier got a little bit of work, but Bijan is just too good to ignore. For what it's worth, I think James Cook looks okay. I actually don't mind Kyron against Buffalo here.
I don't understand the Rams, man.
What was that? Dude, what's his name? What's his name? Got
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum got the first 5 or 6 carries of that game.
Kyron Williams could have had, no joke, against New Orleans, 25 carries for like $170 and 3. Twice on the 1 yard line, they threw it. I don't understand what the Rams are doing, but my God.
So do we have to fade him now? Because knowing McVay, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go back to 90% snaps for him. You know why? Because this is against the Bills.
I don't think you have to fade him, but I think you have to be much more. He could get 12 touches in that game. He could get 28 touches. The range of outcomes for Kyron is much wider volume-wise.
You're right. What about Brees? Kenneth Walker, big disappointment. I had a little bit of, I forced him into a couple lineups. Didn't matter, but he was terrible. And then Charbonnet got the touchdown. But it's Bijan for me. I might not even want to go up to the 8K range all that much. What about Brees Hall? Braylon Allen there too. That team is complete dust. I don't think I can play Brees Hall in this spot.
It's Brees Hall. He's a good player, but I would prefer every running back we talked about so far before him.
All right, so it's Bijan for both of us.
Correct.
How about the mid range in the 6K range?
Tony Pollard.
Yep, I think so.
Tony, that's the answer.
I think it is.
Yep.
You're not going to Chuba here.
No.
Aaron Jones, the fumbling issues.
No.
He had a touchdown reception, but outside of that, big time struggle for Aaron Jones last game. James Conner, I guess, is okay. Walker, fine.
Garendo.
Well, he's going to be our cheap guy. He has to be. We might unfortunately be in lockstep with all 3 of these because Garendo is going to be the chalkiest play on the entire slate.
That's just what we have to do, though. I honestly don't think we need to spend a ton of time on running back. I think it unfolds very clearly.
It does. There are no other good cheap options. It is Isaac Garendo. And you know what? If you want to fade the chalk, fine. But like anytime 50, he should be the same price, honestly, in this offense right now, assuming Trent Williams is back too. He should be like the same price as Aaron Jones or Tony Pollard, yet he's $1,000 cheaper.
Yep.
That's
and Spears had 1 carry in the last game, literally 1.
Yep. Why did someone mention that in chat?
They were just wondering about Spears' workload. It's just non-existent. They're also down 28-0 instantly.
Yeah, and Spears still wasn't very involved though.
Nope.
That says a lot. I'll throw one other cheap guy out at you. That DeAndre Swift is 5,700.
Yeah. Swift is just always in play because he's a home run hitter, and I actually like Chicago's offense.
And if Bosa's out again, this offense could look a whole lot better. They've allowed over the last 2 games 169 and 220 rushing yards, the Niners. Swift could be very sneaky if he ends up being like 5% owned.
I see that.
Wide receivers?
Let's talk about him.
It's so weird that with the price points, even though they're in a really fantastic spot, I think I'm going to have trouble getting to these top Philly guys.
Yeah, I mean, always tournament centric, but I would much rather play Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, I think is in a really good spot. Even Tyreek, before I play AJ Brown, and I love AJ Brown in life.
Mike Evans is my guy here at 7,200.
Yeah, I'm going Jefferson.
Hands down, he's my guy. Played 60% of snaps in his first game back. Wasn't bad at all. But then you see this in the second game back, right? Plays 84% of snaps. He's now in a spot where I think Baker Mayfield throws more than he typically would. 12 targets last game for Mike Evans. No Chris Godwin. And let's not ignore Baker Mayfield only threw 33 times. So, that's what 30, what would that be, like 37% target share or something for Mike Evans?
Yeah, massive.
It's a huge target share. He's always been Baker's guy, him and Godwin. Give me $7,200 Evans. For you said, and go ahead and dive in a little bit. Jefferson here against Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say at home. I still don't fear Atlanta's secondary. They've got some pieces, but they still give up plenty of catches. He landed on this is very small stuff, but he landed on 99 yards last week. Hasn't been scoring. It's these little things that I think erode the perception of him when it's all variance. Justin Jefferson in a big game is going to be busy, and I like him a lot.
I'll always play some AJ Brown in these spots. Always, because he's
ownership
fantastic.
Dependent for me.
But if Devontae Smith is back, and they said he's close and he should be back this week, they'd be
Was
smart.
Goddard hurt?
Goddard's on the IR. Or I'm sorry, an IR candidate. Man, if Devontae doesn't come back, because maybe they just play it safe and don't. I might put AJ Brown as I would. I'll tell you, okay, the caveat, Ben. If Devontae's out, and we already know Goddard's out, Goddard's not going to play. If those two are both out, AJ Brown will be my top guy up top.
Okay. Ownership dependent for me still.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, even if Hurts throws, say, 20 times, Brown might have 10 for $170 and 2.
Very possible.
Right? In a spot like this. I agree it's ownership dependent, though, because you'd honestly just be playing the volume game there, saying if AJ Brown ends up being super chalky, that would you consider pivoting to a Barkley, or would you just fade the spot? Because if there's no Devontae and there's no Goddard, and AJ Brown is very popular but doesn't end up producing, someone in this game they're going to have, I haven't looked, they're going to have like a 31 point total in this game.
Yeah, it's still very possible. Again, I'm not ruling out having Eagles exposure. It's just very possible that they all play well and none of them at their respective price points do anything that separates.
Very possible. You're absolutely right.
Like Saquon could get 25. That's really solid, but it's not a home run at 9K. AJ Brown could chip in with 18. Hurts could give you 20, and then miscellaneous give you 20, and they win 34-10.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's possible. Highest implied total, by the way, on the entire week, 29 points, Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. Anybody else up top? You want to hit this mid-range? Mid-range looks okay. There's a few guys I like here.
Yeah, I like the mid-range. Mid-range, good like attachments to my stacks.
Drake London's coming off a 15 target game. I think Devontae Adams at 67 is at least viable. George Pickens, I will always play George Pickens. Always. I love that guy. I love that he's a menace.
He is.
But how about this one? If Metcalf is out, you got to go to JSN.
Yeah, JSN's amazing. And Geno throws the ball with crazy volume, 63. No problem with that.
What about Marvin Harrison? And now that he's 6K flat.
That's my guy.
I like him.
Because I like Kyler.
I won't go Marvin Harrison here just so we can switch it up. But I like that. And they talked about trying to get him going more. Did he have a huge game last time out? No, he didn't have a huge game. However, he was targeted 12 times on the day against a good Minnesota defense. Still finished with pretty serviceable numbers, 17 DraftKings points, 5 for 60 and a score. 6K on Marvin Harrison seems like a pretty good buy low.
Him and DJ Moore are right there. DJ Moore is going to be more popular in my opinion. I like both of them, but I'm riding with Harrison. Yeah.
All right.
And just real quick, chat was asking because I think it's worth talking about. Like, so what is a home run for Barkley? Honestly, the problem with the 9K guy is it's so dependent on everybody else. Like, he could go nuclear, truly, but if some random 7K guy gets 28 or 31, it's so hard to make, like, because there isn't, barring something really crazy, for most part, there is still a ceiling on like how many points you can get. And so it makes it really tough. Barkley, if it's a really low scoring week and there's a ton of cheap value, he could get 28 and he's really useful to you. He could also have a week where 28 is actively bad because 5 mid-range backs all get 25. So it's really dependent when you're up there.
Big time. He could have, he could have 33 and it's still like, all right, not bad. He actually did earlier this year at 35 and he wasn't in a lot of the top lineups, the top or the winning lineups. He was right around there, but you didn't actually need him because it was one of those crazy weeks where you had, I think, like 2 7K or 6K guys go for 30 plus.
Yeah. And if the wide receivers at the top smash, you can't get all of them in the lineup. So you have to leave somebody out. There's a lot of, that's why it's, it's not just about going back to Sunday and that group, whoever that person was in chat. That's why price matters so significantly.
Oh, that was wild. Kirk Cousins revenge game, Ben. How you feeling about that?
I mean, he's going to be watching the rest of the season if he plays really bad, I think.
I think you're right.
It was low-key the worst performance, I think, of any quarterback in any week last week. He was awful.
Terrible. Terrible. Just plain flat out terrible. Give me JSN, though.
And I'll take Marvin Harrison.
All right. Cheap range. A lot of places we can go here. Lots. I'm going Jacoby. Like, I just think with this insanely concentrated target share we're seeing right now, it's hard for me not to want to go. Jacoby Myers is good too. Like,
yes, he is.
He's a good player. They don't have a viable run game. Yeah, it for me, it's got to be Jacoby Myers because I think Aiden O'Connell is viable here.
Definitely. Him and Keenan Allen are right there, and I'm going to take, you can cue it up, the Megamind Genius play. I'm going back to Calvin Ridley.
It's a fine spot.
It's a good spot for him. No one wants to do that. The targets are there. I mean, you could say that, well, this is just like what he does. That was as bad as he could have run last week. He dropped like 100 yards worth of catches in that game. The touchdown variance has been awful all year. He's next to 2 guys that grade out straight better than him. I love Calvin Ridley as a leverage spot this week.
So do I. It's Myers and Ridley. Also want to throw a guy out there and get your thoughts. What do you make of Debo? McCaffrey's out, right? Like, does Debo just end up having one of those freakish games? Because we haven't seen it recently.
I hope this isn't true. He might be my favorite player. I think there's a chance that Debo is just washed. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I really hope I'm wrong.
The whole team looks wrong. The whole team looks bad. I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe it's just that.
Remember when Debo, everyone said this guy, I know you don't play best ball, but I'm sure you heard it 2 years ago, or like going into last year, everyone's like, Debo, you can't touch this guy. He stinks. He's no good anymore. His ADP is way too high. Then he goes out and has another crazy season. Maybe he just rotates good and bad seasons and next year he dominates again. I don't know, but they've had a lot of mouths to feed between Juwan Jennings, emergence but Ayuk's been out and McCaffrey's been out and Kittle's been in and out and still yet Debo hasn't had those huge games.
That's why I'm just worried. I don't know. It just seems like there's too many hills to overcome in that same range. I'm not looking to get to Debo. I hope Debo's not washed. Like I said, he is my favorite player in the league. I love the way he plays.
Yeah. By the way, you say Galaxy Brain, Galaxy Megamind Genius Play. I think Ridley will be popular.
I don't.
Really? I bet he's double digits.
I mean, if he is, it's like 11%, not 18. I'd be stunned if he's over 15%.
Oh, I'm not saying he's going to be like the
No,
chalk.
you have him as the highest owned guy in the slate, and that's aggressive.
Look, the Titans have a higher total this week than the Seahawks, than the Falcons. They have a higher implied total. They have the same total as the Rams this week. So,
But this is where, again, this is why I lean on our tools. To me, Jacoby Myers is going to be popular. And Keenan Allen is going to be popular. So how are all three of them going to be popular?
because I don't think the 6K range is going to be that popular.
Okay, that is one way to do it, but I think the 6K range, I think DJ Moore is going to be crazy popular, and I think JSN is going to be crazy popular if Metcalf is ruled out.
All right. Couple other cheap options. You mentioned Keenan Allen. Addison, if you're connecting it to Darnold and Jefferson, I think is fine. Juwan Jennings at 5,200 might just kind of be the guy. 5,200. Maybe you just go all the way down to Juwan Jennings. I don't think it's crazy. Let's talk about tight ends. What do you think Brock Bowers? What you pulled the pin, brother.
Nice.
What do you think
those
Brock
idiots
Bowers
with the helmet?
Brock Bowers prop looks like this week?
Well, I was looking not at specifically. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But what is Brock Bowers' prop? I'll say for yards, 82.5.
Okay.
Higher or lower?
We don't have them yet. I was just curious.
Oh. Well, then I
Tuesday,
can't
yeah.
be wrong.
Hold on. Maybe some of the pick 'em. Maybe
some of the stuff. So what I wanted to talk about, honestly, there's no better time to do it. This morning, I obviously was what I do every morning. I wake up and I go to Odd Chopper, and I was putting in some bets across, some of the more daily sports, and I was checking out just some early lines on NFL stuff, and that's what made me think of what you're saying. And Bowers is going to be a real popular play, and I know right now it's crazy. We had just an awesome Thanksgiving, but it is Cyber Week, and you guys, I say you guys, as if I'm not part of it, but the DFS side is running the awesome deal that we talked about. We're running one over on Odd Chopper as well, Jordan. I know you could bring it up. It's got the banner across the top of it. 70% off portfolio EV. So if you want to use the tools that you've seen so much about, that you've probably seen the screenshots that me and Loughran are using every day, both not just with sports that we actively know, but in sports that we don't know, which is even better because it's an automated process. You can get right in. The code is Cyber Week, which is kind of shady, but it's all one word. You can just click that banner. It'll be in the description as well. You see that easy stuff. If you want to come check out the tools for the best time of the year in terms of volume, huge discount. I mean, we are just getting flooded with people saying, hey, I've never bet like this, and I doubled my bankroll in just a short amount of time just by getting down small bets in volume. And this is really helping change the way I bet going forward.
I use it every day. I get like 20 bets in on DraftKings before I'm even out of bed. And people go, aren't you limited there? Yeah. This is the crazy thing. Like my average bet is between $10 and $30 on DraftKings, depending on how
quickly that adds up. Yeah.
I have $1,500 on DraftKings already. On no bets of more than like $30, which is crazy. And it adds up a ton. It adds up a ton, man. And you grind the small edges, you win money. I'll give you a couple pieces of advice for those of you guys who dove in maybe already and used the Black Friday promo or want to do this. Don't put your own don't inject your own personal bias into this. Just think about it like this. This is market based. You're not trying to do anything outside of beat the market, okay? And beat those individual books. Forget about your thoughts on like, no, he should go over this or under this number. Know that you're using sharp sources to identify what the true odds are. That way you can find what books aren't sharp and you can pounce and beat them up, okay? Another thing, don't worry about day-to-day variance, okay? You're going to see it like this, right? This is going to happen, but it's going to continue to go up. And The bad days will happen, but the good days will make up for it. So don't get bogged down by any of that stuff. Those are the two biggest pieces of advice I can give you if you're diving into it. Link is down there, 70% off if you want to dive in. Jump in the Discord, a lot of smart people. Promo code Cyber Week, all one word.
All one word. Again, you can use that link. You click right in and it'll say it. You could also just go to oddchopper.com. You can't miss it. And yeah, just get on in. And when you do, last thing, join Discord and you get those channels that it's all the other people using this working together because we're all a team against the books. It's not like DFS in that regard. You will get immediate experience of people who said, I've been doing this for a month and I discovered this little wrinkle with the portfolio. I've noticed this. Exactly. Lee, this guy gets it. You just automate your process and see for yourself.
Hell yeah, man. Links down there. Cyber Week at checkout.
We'll get Cricket on there soon.
I can't play on Prize Picks, but
neither can I.
If you can, Bowers is at 68.5 right now.
Yeah, that seems low, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Definitely. I'm not even saying Tampa's a bad defense, but the guy just gets peppered with targets. He's fantastic. He's the best tight end in the league. Is that crazy to say that? Am I just flat? Like, I think he's the best tight end in the league already. Pass catching.
Yeah, he's
who would you put above him?
Best ever.
No, really. Who would you put above him right now? Like
nobody. Actually, no jokes aside, Bowers is the best tight end in the league.
Yeah, from a DFS perspective, if I asked you, these are your guys that you can play, who would you play? It's Brock Bowers.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy. Wow, Tampa's allowed the fourth most.
It's not crazy. That's the crazy thing. That's what's hilarious about this. No, I know what you mean. I'm so.
You think he's that good?
He was in college. Everyone was like, there's never been a tight end like this guy. And now in the NFL, everyone's like, can you believe that this guy, it's like, well, that's what it was supposed to be. Crazy enough.
Unbelievable. Tampa's allowed the fourth most receiving yards to opposing tight ends this year as well. They've been getting crushed by tight ends.
Imagine if he had a really good quarterback.
Oh, man. Anyway, Bowers is my top dog up there. It's not even in question. And by the way, I like McBride this week. McBride has 24 receptions on 27 targets over the last 2 games.
Double mega mind genius play for the show.
Play both of them this week.
Yeah,
I was just going to ask you that question. I think it's super viable.
Super viable. You're going to have to flat everywhere else, but you can do that this week. You will have to chop off the Saquons of the world most likely, but you can do that.
I have no issues with it at all. Matter of fact, we should. All right, let's just run through tight end and then we'll get out of here, but we're going to build a lineup with that before we go.
Okay.
Okay. Because we had fun doing that for Thanksgiving. Are we both Bowers for upper tier?
100%. Bowers shouldn't be within $1,000 of any other tight end ever.
Agreed. But we also agree McBride looks great too.
Yeah. McBride is a value, but Bowers is a bigger value because he's only $400.
Yeah, exactly. Bowers should be like 75 and McBride should be
68.
68. Sure. Yeah. Mid-tier, I'll go back to Kate Otten, Ben. I think the passing game opens up for Tampa this week. Kate Otten, 4,400, still 7 targets last game. He hasn't been great since Evans' return, but he's still decent enough. I think that price point has come down far enough for me to play him.
I'm going to go Hockenson. If you don't play Jefferson, this is another attachment to what I think is a decent spot for Minnesota in the passing game.
For what it's worth, the only 2 guys I had written down in the mid-range were Kate Otten and Hockenson. Cheap. I think, so Grant Calcaterra, if you wanted to go there, I'm fine with that. Carolina's terrible against everyone, but they're really bad against tight ends. I actually like him. There's 2 guys to me. It's him or Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson's the one that I have. He not only, again, Taysom Hill does a little of everything, but Juwan Johnson will be tasked with even more. He's a red zone threat. And honestly, he's leverage off Kamara a little bit if he's catching touchdowns.
All right, so go Juwan Johnson. I'll go Calcaterra. I think they're both really good plays here in the low tier. Also, I think 2 tight ends could be very, very profitable this week with what we have down there.
I love that. I do that all the time.
And what we have up top. So let's build a lineup. we can't use the single lineup sim yet because we don't, there's no point of putting data out on Tuesday. But do we start it with Bowers and
Sure.
McBride?
Yep.
All right. Start it with Bowers and McBride. And I want to do this as well. I'm just going to throw in, here's our sub 3K defense. I'm just going to throw in Tennessee at 2,800.
Sure. That's fine.
Okay. 5,800 per player remaining. Like, I think this is an Aiden O'Connell lineup.
We can do that. That's fine. We can go O'Connell and Evans. You want to just do that?
O'Connell and Evans and Myers.
So you want a Raiders +2 with Evans on the bring back?
Correct.
That's fine.
We still have 5,600, 5,700. Garendo has to go in. Right?
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, no, it is. I have
Yes, it will.
Saquon clicked in.
Yeah,
I was going to say, this is not working at all. No, this is
no,
fine.
this is going to work. Matter of fact, we can go to Bijan here and get okay. If you go to Garendo and Bijan, you have 4,100 per player remaining. Now at wide receiver, we got to pick somebody, Ben. You could go David Moore. Is there anybody down there that we could make work? Or do you want to just punt, full out punt defense and get up a little bit higher? Is there a defense that we could fully punt? Like Bears against San Francisco?
I mean, that's not. You could go. No, you can't do that. Don't do that. All right, let's see. Let's think about this.
You could go Browns defense and throw in like McLeod or Parker Washington coming off a great game. Maybe Parker Washington there.
I'd rather go. There's really nobody there. That's so gross. I have such a
play
good
Tony Pollard over Bijan.
That's where I'm at, but it's dead. That's what I did.
Hold on. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a bad range.
I honestly think Juwan Jennings would be fine there.
I don't love that build.
What about Addison?
You can't get to him.
No, well, if you pay down at defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amari, but I don't like that.
You could go.
I got it. No, I got it. Pay down for Browns defense. You get Keenan Allen.
Yeah, that'll work. You could also go Swift and Ridley.
Oh, I don't actually hate that. That's like that's as balanced a build as you're ever going to get.
That's a super flat build. And that's kind of what I anticipate I'll be doing with double tight end.
I don't mind that. I like the Pollard and Keenan build though, too.
So do I. I don't love the Browns defense, but at the same time, it's defense. And Russell Wilson, I don't care. You know, if he's going to throw it 40 times, that's awesome.
Okay, cool. So Aiden O'Connell, it appears we have lost Jordan. Isaac Garendo, Tony Pollard, Jacoby Myers, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Browns defense, if you wanted to go that route. That's a sick lineup. If you wanted to go your route, you're keeping Titans, you're moving Pollard to Swift, right? And then you're putting in Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
Not bad.
No.
You could also go Browns defense and move Ridley up to DJ Moore if you wanted to as well.
You could have your pick of either Bears wide receiver
or Marvin Harrison. So these lineups are very doable then. Very. Appreciate you guys. Hey, follow Ben at JazzRazBets, me at Laffy_D. I will have picks for every game out later tonight or tomorrow morning, Ben, over on the Odd Shopper channel. Picks for every game in week 14. Tough betting week. I'm going to tell you that much. Tough betting week. What do you got coming up?
Yeah, we have all sorts of stuff. It is conference championship week for college football. So the playoff will be announced. Obviously, I'm going to have bets there. So as much as we've got going on over at Odd Shopper, if you're looking for more and you want to get in Discord and hang out with us, That is all there on the Tails marketplace. So it's just a great time. Like I always say, not everything is going to appeal to you, but I'm really confident what we've got going on. There is something out there that's going to make you a better bettor or a better DFS player, and find what that is and be part of the family here.
Last thing, on principle, I think I have to bet Trey McBride to score this week. I might even bet like a 2-touchdown play on McBride.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Jordan for producing. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Single lineup Sims building show. Peace.